It's great to be with you.
Но была попытка.
I don't think they've had any relations, but there was an attempt by the Kremlin to have some sort of influence on the election in order to create provocations.
How well known in Russia, in Russian circles, how well known is it that Russia influences or attempts to interfere in other countries' elections?
До последнего времени,
Until recent times, until this whole scandal blew up, the Kremlin was trying to show quite the opposite, to show Russian society how much it has had an influence on the American elections. I mean, they weren't doing it so directly, but they were trying to make it like we elected Trump.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
It could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds.
I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
Do you believe that Russia interferes in the British elections, the French presidential elections, the European elections that are taking place at the moment, the UK referendum? I mean, are they up for all elections, the Russians? Are they up for interfering wherever they can?
Во-первых, я бы не говорил бы, что это Россия.
First of all, I wouldn't say Russia. 145 million people in Russia couldn't care less about elections, even in their own country. But the Kremlin, yes, is trying to create situations wherever it can. Elections are just one of the types of situations that it creates.
To what end?
Ослабить правительство.
To weaken governments in order to make it easier to negotiate with them and reach those goals that Putin has set for himself.
Putin said Trump is brilliant. And I like him because he called me a genius. He said Trump is the new real leader. Trump should be the leader, and he's a total genius, and it got out in the paper. So he called me a genius. But, you know, it wouldn't be bad to get along with Russia, right? It wouldn't be bad. Trade. We intend to do a lot of trade with Russia. We do some right now. It's up a little bit. But he'd like to do trade, and we'd like to do trade.
The old divide and rule concept. But is there any evidence that it's working, all that they are doing?
Ну, без всякого сомнения, некое воздействие.
No doubt there. It does have an impact. I can see the positions of many European leaders, political leaders, I mean. I'm seeing that they're starting to get a little scared of the Kremlin, get a little scared to speak out against the Kremlin, because they understand that the Kremlin can do something nasty to them. So yes, in that sense, there is an effect.
That was a Democrat hoax.
It's a witch hunt.
Phony witch hunt.
It was a hoax. It's like a witch hunt. It's like a witch hunt.
This is a hoax.
The witch hunt continues.
I call it the Russian hoax.
Again, to Donald Trump, we've read so much about a supposed relationship. This idea of Putin pulling the strings, holding incriminating evidence. You've heard these stories, you know them better than I do. What authority should I give them?
Мне сложно себе представить.
It's hard for me to imagine that Putin has some sort of compromising material on Mr. Trump. Material that, on the one hand, the FBI wouldn't already know about, and on the other hand, would present a danger to Mr. Trump. If it's money, if it's serious money, then the FBI would have already known about this and would have said something. If it's women, then for Mr. Trump, as far as I understand it, women aren't compromising material.